Internet. Thank you for tuning in to the first official episode of Potterless, the podcast documenting the tale of a 24-year-old man reading the Harry Potter series for the first time. My name is Mike Schubert. I am that man who has not read the books yet, and I am joined by Harry Potter fanatic and social media star Alex Moothart. Alex, do you want to say hello to the lovely
Oh God,
viewers?
I'm so excited and flustered. This is the moment I've been waiting for my whole life.
Yes, so Alex was chosen to be the first guest because there has been a bountiful harvest of Snapchats and tweets and all sort of posts about how much you love Harry Potter. So how important is Harry Potter to your life?
It's I identify a huge part of myself within the Harry Potter series. Like if and when I do go on dates, I need to know what house they belong in. Like it identifies who you are as a person so much. It's huge.
Yeah, it's very important. Which house are you in, just to put it into reference?
Hufflepuff and proud, biatch.
So I did Pottermore far enough to where you do the Sorting Hat, and then I stopped playing. And I got Gryffindor, so...
I think you're so great.
Well, I thought I was going to get Hufflepuff because I was like, oh, like, they're the nice ones and the good friends. And then the questions were like, if you did something good, do you want people to know about it? And I was like, yes. and I was like, oh no, like, I'm a douchebag. I'm in Gryffindor. Like,
You're vain. That's what that means.
Yeah, it does. Because it was like the nice person would have been like, no one has to know. But since I like being rewarded for things and getting a little glory or prize receiving, if you will, I was like, wait, come on. So that definitely put me in Gryffindor.
Totally fine. My hybrid house is Griffin Puff, so I got a little bit of Gryffindor.
Oh, there you go. I guess I would be a Puff second, because I'm not smart enough to be in Ravenclaw, and I'm not mean enough to be in Slytherin, I hope. But let's get right to it. The first book, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, or Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, if you live in England. So I have not read past chapter 8, or I've gotten up to chapter 9, so I'm exactly halfway through the book. And we're recording this to just to kind of go through what I've seen thus far and everything. So for anyone that is unaware of how much I know about Harry Potter, I've read 0 of the books, and I have watched the first 4.5 movies. So my knowledge is very limited. I think I fell asleep during part of 5. I saw like the beginning and then the end, but the middle is a blank. So I'm very limited, but that's the point of this journey, Alex, is to right my wrongs and go through the Harry Potter series.
On this journey.
Okay, so let's just get it started right away. We're basically just going to go through my thoughts on the first 8 chapters of the book, and we're going to just talk about all sorts of things and go off on tangents, and it'll be a great little time. So chapter 1, The Boy Who Lived. So it centers around the Dursley family, so much more than in the movies. Because in the movie, they were just kind of like, here's the Dursley family. They suck. They make Harry live under the stairs. And that was kind of it. So I was surprised with how much the book talked about them and went into detail about how much they suck.
Yeah, I was always happy to be like, oh my God, the Dursleys are terrible. Like, if any of my friends hadn't read the books, I was like, yeah, they're awful, but they're also like borderline sociopathic. They're terrible human beings. They're like mini Hitlers.
They're really awful. And in the movies, I was like, oh, okay, like they're mean, whatever. But in the books, I'm like, oh, they're the worst. This makes sense.
They're awful. They're mean for no reason except for jealousy, Petunia.
So, yes, that's something that we learn later in the books and we'll discuss, which I don't think they really covered in the movies. So they have a snooty kid named Dudley, which, first off, awful naming decision by the parents to name their child Dudley Dursley, like, terrible.
That paints a great picture in your mind.
Yeah, and I guess that's the point. J.K. Rowling goes with some ridiculous name choices in this book, and I guess that makes sense that, Dudley Dursley would be the fat, snooty kid.
Right.
So they reveal that the mom is Harry's aunt, so it is Harry's mom's sister. And in this chapter, Mr. Dursley sees odd things happen throughout the city. He sees a cat reading a map, he sees people wearing funny cloaks, and he sees a bunch of owls flying into the city. And he's very confused by all of this. While he's on his way to work, he hears people talking about Harry Potter and spreading rumors about the Potters having a son. So there's big confusion about what's going on. The mom and the dad Dursley talk. It's revealed that they know Harry exists. They know that Mama Potter is a wizard, and it's very well established that the Dursleys do not like wizards at all.
Hate him.
they really hate him, and you learn why later. So Dumbledore shows up, and here's my first gripe with the entire series. Things were great until I got to page 9. He puts out the street lights in the street with a device called the Put Outer.
Is it really called that?
It's called the Put Outer, and you're the third person that I've complained this to, and the exact response from all of them was, wait, is it really called that? It's really called the Put Outer.
Wow. I thought it was called the luminous something.
That's what someone else said, so I don't know if they renamed it later in the series or in the movie or what, but on page 9 or whatever, they say the Put Outer.
I mean, straight to the point. So,
but Dumbledore is the most powerful wizard that we know of, and he couldn't think of a better name for the Put Outer than the Put Outer.
You know what? Sometimes it's the simple things that really get you by. Shoobs. Who are you to judge? Shoobs. I bet you had a Putter Outer.
I do. But see, you can't even just. It's so bad.
God. It sounds like I'm trying to put out on a first date.
Hey, that could be a better name. Okay, so Dumbledore and his Put Outer, they meet up with Professor McGonagall, who is revealed that she was the cat. She's super pissed off because the wizards are celebrating that Voldemort, or the one who he who shall not be named.
Not be named.
He who must not be named. She's mad that they're celebrating that he's gone, but apparently he's had 11 years of terror, so, she needs to remove the stick out of her butt, because 11 years is a long time.
Yeah. It's a very, very long time. He who must not be named is a terrible, terrible, terrible man. He's actually a mini Hitler.
Yeah, and he's got no nose, and he's like a snake-looking dude. This is the things I know so far. So Dumbledore, this is what I love. He gets super mad at McGonagall for calling him you-know-who instead of just straight up Voldemort. And I was like, yes, this is good, because the whole you-know-who, he shall not be named, I think it's so dumb.
Well, for now.
Oh, yeah, I think from what I've gathered from the movies, the whole stereotype or superstition is that if you say Voldemort, bad things happen, it's a bad luck thing, stepping on a crack. Is that what it is?
You'll see.
Oh, I'll see. Okay, good. Yeah, a big thing is don't spoil anything. I've only read halfway through the first book. So she tells Dumbledore that there's a rumor that Lily and James Potter are dead, and Dumbledore confirms, so then she starts crying, which to me is oh, Lily and James Potter must have been really cool.
They were one of the greats.
Oh, no. So Dumbledore says that they have to leave Harry Potter with the Dursleys, and McGonagall is super pissed because she has been kind of following the Dursleys around and thinks they're horrible people. But Dumbledore says it's best so that Harry doesn't grow up knowing that he's famous. So I guess that makes sense. I don't know. Anyway, Hagrid shows up on his flying motorcycle with Harry in swaddling clothes, drop him at the door, and then they all decide to join in on the celebrations. And that's the end of Chapter 1.
Yep.
So Chapter 2, which is The Vanishing Glass, or my alternative title, Fat Ass's Birthday Party. So Dudley Dursley is turning 11, and it's his birthday. And Harry has to make him breakfast. That's the rule.
That's what happens with any young boy's birthday. Their little slave boy has to make them breakfast.
The slave boy that lives under the stairs has to make them breakfast.
Yeah, standard.
So Dudley's super pissed off that he only has 36 presents, which apparently is 2 less than last year.
Honestly, fucking rude.
Wait, rude that there's only 36 presents, or rude that...
Yeah.
Yeah. So his parents promise him 3 more, and then he's okay. Harry was supposed to get babysat by some crazy cat lady, but she broke her leg, so they have to bring Harry along to the birthday bash.
Ugh, Harry sucks.
That old lady just had to break her damn leg.
So selfish.
So, the worst. So they go to the zoo, they bring him with it. And then the narrator reveals that weird stuff happens to Harry that he can't explain. After he gets his hair cut, it grows back immediately. He's running away from bullies and jumps onto a school roof. He tries to wear an ugly sweater, and it shrinks every time he tries to put it on. So little hints of wizardry.
Puberty.
Oh, wizard puberty.
That's what it is.
Oh, is that...
No, that's like regular human puberty. That's what happened to me.
Oh. I thought this was like wizard puberty, which makes sense of why they start wizard school at age like 12.
Exactly.
Oh, this makes so much sense now. I was wondering.
I'm actually really proud of myself if that was like the real explanation, but...
I mean, it would make sense though. Like you're becoming a man, you're becoming a wizard.
We're going to roll with it.
I like it.
We just spoke ground on a genius idea.
One that J.K. Rowling probably thought of. Okay, so they go to the zoo and they go to the reptile room. There's a giant snake that is sleeping. It rises, winks at Harry. Harry winks back, the sly devil that he is. And then the snake looks at the fatty family and then gives Harry a look, which I will translate by the narrator's description as saying, "These bitches," kind of sympathizing with Harry that he has to put up with them. Harry makes the glass disappear, and the snake gets out. And then the snake turns to Harry and says, "Brazil, here I come. Thanks, amigo. My next gripe with the book," or I guess the movies. Why was that line not in the movies? That's the greatest line ever.
Well, you just can't understand what the snake is saying because you can't speak parcel tongue.
But I thought in the movie it says thanks, and you can hear it say thanks. I might have been mistaken.
Oh, yeah, it does say that in the movie.
Yeah. Brazil, here I come, thanks, amigo. Way better. That's amazing. I audibly laughed out loud reading a book. That should have been in the movie.
It should have been in the movie. God damn it.
I'm glad that I'm 2 for 2 on snarky comments where you are agreeing with me that they're stupid.
Damn. Okay. Sorry.
So another thing that is different in the book than the movie is that the glass, in the movie, I'm pretty sure they make the glass disappear and then Dudley is on the other side and then the glass comes back and they're trapped. And that didn't happen at all in the book.
Yeah, I was confused when I first saw that in the movie. I was like, wait a second, that didn't happen. But then they just cut to exterior, a Dursley house, so they didn't have to solve it.
Yeah, because it makes more sense that they didn't get behind it. Because in the movie, I was like, wait, how did they get back there? And then in the book, that didn't happen. I was like, all right, this is a better decision.
Well, in the movie, Dudley was pressing up against the glass, and then it disappeared, so he fell through.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, Harry keeps having repeating visions of a green light and then a pain on his forehead and his little lightning bolt scar. He assumes it's the crash that his parents died in, which is the lie that the fatty family told him is how his parents died. So he knows nothing about his parents. He's also not allowed to ask about his parents. His step family of the Dursleys just won't give him any information. So in public around the town, a few wizards start to notice him. They wave at Harry, they bow at him, they shake his hand, and he's confused every single time. And that is the end of Chapter 2. Chapter 3, The Letters from No One. I have very few notes about this because it was a pretty straightforward chapter. He gets the Hogwarts letter. The Dursleys are freaked out that it specifies that Harry lives in the cupboard under the stairs.
Magic.
Yep. They decide to not tell Harry what the letter says, but then they move him into Dudley's second bedroom, which turns out to be a storage room for his broken toys, which seems thoroughly excessive.
Yeah. I mean, I had one.
So then he gets a letter saying, in the smallest bedroom, so then they're super freaked out. There's letters coming in everywhere, and I remember in the movie that the letters were just kind of flying in through the chimney and stuff, but in the book they say that they're inside of milk cartons and inside of eggs, which is way cooler.
I know, I was looking forward to that in the movie, and then it didn't happen. I was like...
so much cooler.
Right. Christopher Columbus directed that first film. I don't know where his expertise was lacking in that first movie.
Wait, the director's name is Christopher Columbus?
Yeah. He got fired though because the first movie honestly wasn't that good in comparison.
See, and I think that's what I remember because I remember I didn't read the books and then they made the movie of it and I was like, all right, I'll watch the movie and if I like the movie, I'll read the books. And I remember not liking the movie.
It wasn't the best. I've seen better. I've seen better variations of the first Harry Potter book in movie form.
Like Wizard People, Dear Reader, because that's the greatest thing.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, so good. Okay, so then Papa Fatty like drives them on this crazy excursion to go to this cabin that's in the middle of middle of nowhere. They have to like use a boat to get to this cabin. And then you enter chapter 4, the Keeper of the Keys, or as I like to call it, Hagrid fucks shit up. Yeah. So Hagrid comes because he knows Harry isn't getting the letters. And he's outraged, though, when he learns that Harry doesn't even know that he's a wizard. Like, he was okay-ish at the fact that they were hiding the letters, but the fact that Harry's like, wait, I'm a wizard? He goes, like, ape shit on the Dursleys.
It's bollocks.
Yeah. So then we get the glorious line of, "You're a wizard, Harry," which made me really happy to read.
My heart sing. And it's on his birthday.
Yeah, it's just super sweet.
So pigtail and all of it.
So Hagrid announces that he's taking him shopping, and then Aunt Petunia is there, and then she lets out all this baggage that she was pretty much just super jealous that her parents liked her sister more than her because she was a wizard and was more interesting, and she was super jealous that her sister found love in James Potter, who's an awesome human being. And was this covered in the movie at all? Because I really don't think it went this deep.
No, she was just like, your sister got blown up, blah, 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 blah. She was a witch. We had a witch in the family. And, like, her jealousy was clearly explained through her dialogue. And that's all that we heard.
Okay, because the book goes, like, real deep. And it's like, oh, she has all this, like, pent-up aggression and hatred and just is taking it out on Harry. And it, like, it actually gets, like, kind of deep. This is why I'm liking the book way more than my experience with the movies.
Right? It's far better.
So in this giant rant, she reveals the true death to Harry, like you're saying, the blown up thing, which is kind of ridiculous to tell an 11-year-old kid, like in an angry tone, like, your parents exploded, that's how they died. Which... Yeah. So Hagrid then describes Voldemort to Harry. He says that he was a great wizard, but then he went bad. He looked for followers like 20 years ago, got really powerful in all the bad ways, and Dumbledore is the only person that Voldemort fears. He explains that Harry is famous because he survived the attack where Voldemort tried to kill his entire family, and he was unable to kill Harry. And then Harry remembers more of his flashback after hearing this. He just, like, there's more details rather than just a flashing green light. He just remembers a little more about it. And then, like, Papa Dursley disses Dumbledore. I forget what he says, but he insults Dumbledore, and Hagrid gets, like, super mad and then tries to turn Dursley into a pig, but instead just gives him a pigtail, which is great. And Hagrid also reveals that he was expelled from Hogwarts, but doesn't say why. And this is my first hint of epic foreshadowing. That's going to come into play later for sure.
It will in the second book. But I was trying to think of something, like, people don't understand, like, why it's such a big deal that Harry survived an attack from Voldemort. And it's like people that haven't read the books, like, don't get, like, why it's such a big deal. And when I think about Voldemort attacking an innocent infant and it surviving whatever spell he cast, you'll find out when you hear about it. I like relate it to, this is going to sound so morbid, but this is honestly the same level that it's on. If someone came into whatever building you were in and just started shooting up the place, if a bullet hit everyone else and killed everyone else and, like, deflected off of you for some reason, but you weren't wearing anything special, or, like, you just happened to live even though the bullet hit you, that's what it is like. So, like, it was such a big deal that an infant baby just managed to get away from such an awful attack with just a scar.
Yeah. I mean, it seems very intense. From my knowledge, I assume he used Avada Kedavra, or the killing wand.
Yeah, killing curse.
So, yeah, and it's cool that I guess infant Harry obviously didn't have a wand, so he didn't, cast anti-Avada Kedavra or whatever, and he just survived, so pretty dope. Didn't he survive because of his parents' love or some sort of bullshit?
Hey. It's real. Love is real. This book solidified that love is real to me.
Good. I'm glad in like third grade or however old we were when this came out, that's when you were confirmed that love is true.
Fifth grade? How dare you?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so Chapter 5, Diagon Alley. They're going to Gringotts first, so they can get all the gold that Harry Potter's parents left for him.
Gotta go to the bank.
Hagrid does some heavy foreshadowing here because he uses like an entire paragraph to be like, oh, the only place more important than Hogwarts is Gringotts Bank. There's spells and enchantments inside. If anyone tried to rob it, they'd be insane. So my initial thought when reading the sentence was, someone's going to try to rob Gringotts Bank. And then it happens like in the next chapter.
Yeah.
So he mentions the Ministry of Magic. He says that they suck and that their main job is just to keep wizards a secret from muggles. I do think that they come into play in the 5th book. That's when like Umbridge takes over. I think she's from the Ministry of Magic, and I remember from the movie. Yeah, I remember from the movie she really sucked. So I guess this kind of confirms Hagrid's description.
Yeah.
So they have to get a lot of books written by people with funny sounding names. And one of which I noticed is the Magical Beast one, which J.K. Rowling totally cop out and made a book of. So is she just like, now that she's done with the book, she's just going to turn all of those 8 books listed into books? Because that's the biggest cop out ever.
I don't think you could do all of them because they don't sound interesting. But the Magical Beasts one, there's already a movie made. It's coming out soon. It's going to be amazing. Have you seen the trailer?
No.
Holy shit. I'm watering at the mouth and other places.
And didn't they make a Quidditch book one too?
Did they?
I think they did. I feel like they might have. Or at least it was like one of those short story things in Pottermore that you could read online or something.
Oh, I was about to say, I haven't heard any of that, and the fact that I haven't heard any of it is a big deal.
Then it might not exist. Don't like. I am clearly not the expert in it because as you'll learn, I thought platform 9 3/4 was platform 9.5. So that
so stupid.
Oh man. So yeah, I'm not the expert. So don't take any of my knowledge. So they reveal that first years are not allowed to bring their own broom, which seems problematic because I totally remember Harry having the Nimbus 2000 or whatever.
Just wait.
Okay. It seems problematic. So he takes Harry to the Leaky Cauldron, which is a bar, and the bartender is described, and this is the greatest description of a human I've ever heard. The bartender is described as, quote, looking like a toothless walnut. That's the greatest.
Also, me on every morning possible.
Like, I'm totally going to use that in an insult. If someone's like, you're dumb, I'd be like, yeah, well, at least I don't look like a toothless walnut. It's an amazing insult.
I honestly aspire to look like that when I'm older.
A toothless walnut.
Yeah. Just a really great time with great looks.
So the whole pub flips out when they realize it's Harry, and they all go up to him and start shaking hands, and they meet Professor Quirrell, who stutters a ton, seems really nervous, and teaches defense against the dark arts. And I know that there's like, isn't it something like the defense against the dark art teachers keep going away? Like, isn't that like, okay, I remember that being a thing. So when he said, I teach defense against the dark arts, I was like, oh, so you're going to die soon. And
it's the same thing with like the smoking with a white lighter, that myth, like you'll die if you do that.
Interesting.
Do you know that?
I do not. Is this?
I learned about this the other day because if you're left-handed and smoke with a white lighter, Kurt Cobain, Jimi Hendrix, and one other musician, who was it? They were all left-handed, smoked with white lighters, and they all died at the age of 27.
Okay, I'm gonna not ever use white lighters or smoke.
Or smoke, just not a.
No, I like my cancerless lungs, so I'm gonna keep that streak going at least until I'm past 27. Clearly,
yeah. Once you turn 28, you're
fine. Yeah. Okay. So he'll come into play later, I'm sure, and then I've learned later that he does. So they tap the brick to go into Diagon Alley. That seems very problematic. That the security system is just tapping a particular brick. Like, what if you accidentally hit a brick?
Listen, who's going to get back to that brick wall unless they're a wizard in Diagon Alley?
I don't know, man. What if you were playing baseball and you hit it and a ball goes off that brick?
I thought it had to go in a certain pattern, no? It's just a certain...
Well, I think he taps it 3 times, but he taps it with his umbrella, which you learn holds half of his wand in, because Ollivander later is like, you don't still have your wand that we broke, do you? And he's like, what? No? As he grips his umbrella tighter, so you learn that his umbrella is a wand. He taps it with the umbrella, so maybe you need a wand to tap the brick. in order to make it open. That's what I'm thinking.
Using your brain for once, Shoobs. God.
So they walk through the alley. They go to Gringotts. This is my favorite, is that like there's a sign that rhymes that tells people not to steal things, which totally hints that Voldemort is going to steal things. They keep foreshadowing that someone is going to steal things from Gringotts. It's really heavy-handed.
So when you're a little teenager just reading this for the excitement of magic and wizardry, you're not paying attention to foreshadowing clues, all right?
Sorry, I'm a 24-year-old man and I'm snarky. So, Hagrid says, quote, you'd be crazy to try it, or you'd be mad to try and rob it. So, totally happening. So they ride a minecar to Harry's vault, and he is straight loaded. He's got gold out the wazoo.
Yes.
Hagrid gets motion sickness on the minecar, even though he drives a flying motorcycle.
There's no turbulence with a flying motorcycle. It's very aerodynamic.
I see. Sorry, I forgot. Magic, I forgot. So Hagrid gets some secret package, which Harry describes as being like really ugly wrapping, from Vault 713 for Dumbledore. And he's super hush-hush about what this vault is or what the package is or anything. It's super sketch, so definitely going to come into play later. So I have this described as some snooty runt talks to Harry about brooms and Quidditch and houses. Oh, this is the snooty runt that I assume turns out to be Malfoy, and then I learned he does.
Yes.
I was like, this guy's a punk. I bet he's Malfoy.
Yeah, he sucks.
He mentions that he's going to be in Slytherin. He already insults Hufflepuffs, which is the first of many times when random people are just like, Hufflepuff sucks.
So rude.
Yeah, like J.K. Rowling just really tries to lay down the groundwork that Hufflepuff is lame, which I feel like is very unfair.
I like to call that Hufflephobia.
Ah, nice.
I just made that up right now. I feel so smart.
It's good, real good.
It's a play off of homophobia.
Which is also a horrible thing. Yeah. So, let's see. Hagrid gets Harry an owl for his birthday, which is great. Then they go to Ollivander's, and this dude is the creepiest guy ever.
But he's the best.
He just keeps talking in detail about Harry's dad's wand. Also, all the wands range between 8 and 12 inches, which is way too suspect. Like, come on. Did it have to be between 8 and 12 inches?
Like my dick.
Like, the guy's going into great detail. It's like, oh, your dad had an amazing 11-inch wand. It was the finest one I've ever sold. Like,
that's what she said.
It was way too creepy. It was a bit much. So I don't know if J.K. Rowling was drunk when she wrote this chapter or was particularly horny, but I was getting a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, girls gotta get some.
Yeah, knowing that third graders are reading this book, I was like, J.K., why don't you tone it down a little bit? So then he picks out a 13.5-inch wand that and gives it to Harry. And it has the phoenix feathers that have only been given to one other wand, and it's Voldemort's dun dun dun, foreshadowing that Harry might be evil.
Oh God!
So, it costs 8 gold galleons, and I googled what the conversion rate is, and that's like $84.
You know what? That's some serious. It's like college textbooks, y'all.
Yeah.
Not expensive, except you actually use your wand, so maybe not so much like.
Well, I mean, I use my wand, my 13.5 inch. No. So chapter 6, the journey from platform 9 3/4, not 9 1/2. Nope. Dudley is terrified of Harry now after all the magic stuff. And the parents completely ignore Harry's existence. So this is a great turn of events. Harry gets dropped off at the station. He mentions that he has to go to platform 9 3/4, and the parents are like, that doesn't exist. Good luck finding it, nerd. And then they just leave. They're just
so rude.
They're just like, get out of here. We don't like you. We don't want to see you anymore. So Harry's like freaking out because he has 10 minutes until he can catch his train. But then he sees a bunch of redheads jumping through a brick wall, and it's the Weasley family. And they seem lovely. So, eldest Weasley is a prefect. They don't say what this means, but I assume the prefects are like the nerd goody-goody two-shoes of Hogwarts that are like on the honor roll.
They're like essentially the hall monitors.
Okay. This is what I've learned. But wait, ghosts are hall monitors, as I learned in chapter 7. So the twins tease Percy about being a prefect, which is great. And this is why there was once a thing in college where in the dorm building that I lived in, they described all the different people and said like what Harry Potter person they would be. And I got described as one of the twins. And I never really got it until I started reading the descriptions of all the twins. And now
I got the description too.
Oh my God, we would be perfect twins.
Oh my God, we're such great twins.
I love it because basically I just make fun of everything. And I was like, yeah, I could be one of these twins.
Yeah.
So they tease him about being a prefect, and it's great. I had a note here. I said, because for everyone listening, I just have a list of notes that I'm reading as I write them as I read the book. I have, quote, I assume prefects are the nerds. Hermione's totally going to want to be a prefect.
Honestly, Hermione's too cool to be a prefect.
Oh, really? Okay. She seems like the worst. I hate her so much after like 5 pages. She's just like the know-it-all teacher's pet. Hate her.
Yeah, she is annoying at the beginning. I mean, just like in the movie, she's annoying at the beginning.
Yeah,
like,
I assume she'll come into her own and chill down and be normal. So then Ginny Weasley, when she finds out that it's Harry on the train, wants to meet Harry really badly, which I think is an amazing foreshadowing since she eventually marries Harry and they have children and all this stuff. I love that the first interaction is like, oh my God, I want to meet Harry so bad. Like he's in One Direction or something.
Yeah, it's Harry Styles. That's what I was about to say. Oh my God, we are twins.
We're the twins. So I think that's great. I don't know if J.K. Rowling planned that from the beginning, but I think it's hilarious that that's the first interaction that the two have is Ginny fangirls over Harry. Yeah. So good. So Ron is shy about living up to his family's reputation, and he's also like shy about them being poor. So it's like really deep, and I feel like this also was not like described in the movie at all. Like it's like they get into some like emotional topics. Like they talk about how Harry is like really scared that he doesn't know anything about magic and all these people think he's famous. Like him and Ron share this like pretty intimate moment about how they're both like really scared about not living up to expectations. And it's like really deep and not covered in the movie at all.
The only hint about Ron's insecurity about being poor that you see in the first movie is like when he pulls out something to eat and it's like a mushed up sandwich like from his pocket that's been sitting there for a few hours, and Harry's like, I got you, let's take the whole thing from the trolley.
Yes.
And then Harry's insecurities about not knowing any magic is just apparent when he first gets into the school and he's like, what is all of this? And everyone else knows exactly what's happening.
Yes. Harry buys 12 silver sickles worth of candy from the cart, and I Googled that, and that's about $7, which seems like not a lot, but the book describes it as like bushels of candy.
So much.
So what you said. So Ron has like shitty sandwiches, and Harry's like, yeah, I'll give you some candy for it, and then doesn't eat the sandwich. So they do the whole chocolate frog thing when they come with like trading cards, and Harry very conveniently gets an Albus Dumbledore card, and he's like, who's this? And Ron's like, oh, you don't know Dumbledore? Let me describe Dumbledore for a page and a half so that when we meet Dumbledore, you understand how important he is. I think it's very convenient and perfectly placed. Okay, so then it says that Dumbledore did a lot of alchemy work with his partner, Nicholas Flamel, and partner has a whole new meaning after 2 years ago or whatever when J.K. Rowling was like, oh, Dumbledore's gay, by the way, so it's like his partner.
Also, it's Flamel.
Oh, sorry. I was reading it. I didn't know.
Get it right.
Sorry,
Nicholas
Flamel. So Neville Longbottom lost his toad in the train. Hermione's being a goody-goody two-shoes and is like trying to find it.
Terrible.
This is a direct quote that I've written down. Hermione is a try-hard piece of shit know-it-all and judges Ron's attempt at turning his rat yellow when she realizes it's not a real spell.
Yeah. Sunshine, Daisy, Bottom Mellow, turn the stupid fat rat yellow. Oh. Not real Ron.
Wow. I'm so glad I picked you to be the first one. Oh, so great. You're so knowledgeable.
I know way too much.
So, Ron tells Harry Potter that someone tried to rob a high security vault in Gringotts. I then wrote, I knew it, really large.
Really large.
I knew it was happening. I didn't realize it would happen like 2 chapters later.
Yeah.
So, they said nothing happened to the people that tried to rob them. They weren't caught, it seems like they didn't take anything, and normally the security door would have like made them vanish or die or whatever, and nothing happened to them. So everyone's like, whoa. Ron then describes Quidditch to Harry. The snooty kid comes back and is revealed to be Malfoy, so again, I was right. And I need to realize that I shouldn't be, like, proud that I know these things, since I know, like, what happens. So when I'm like, oh, I knew it! It's like, come on. Also, this book is for, like, 10-year-old children. So...
Hey. For all ages, it's universal. It's like a Pixar movie.
So then it is revealed that Papa Malfoy... used the excuse that he was bewitched under Voldemort and has returned to, like, be a good wizard again. And Ron immediately thinks this is a bunch of bull. So they get off the train, they get onto boats, and then they go into Hogwarts. And then it's Chapter 7, The Sorting Hat. So McGonagall explains the house system. Everyone is terrified because they think there's going to be a test before the hat goes on. So, like, Hermione's, like, reciting all these spells, and people are, like, flipping through books, and Harry's just, like, frozen, petrified.
Yep.
The hat sings a song, and then it's revealed that there's no test. He just goes on your head and then picks it. He describes that Gryffindor is for brave people, Hufflepuff is for loyal people, Ravenclaw's for nerds, and Slytherin is for cunning people. A lot of people with weird names then get sorted. Some of them are very quick, others it takes a lot of time. One of those it takes a lot of time is Harry. So Harry, after much deliberation, gets Gryffindor. And then the nervous teacher, Quirrell, is described as wearing a turban, which means he's the guy at the end of the book where Voldemort is living in the turban. I know this happens from the movie, and I think, don't tell me since I'm not there, but I'm pretty sure the giant snake comes into play. I don't know if that's in this book or in book 2, but I remember in the movie, one of the movies, there was a giant snake involved, and it might be this, but I do know that Voldemort is living in someone's turban, and they say this guy has a turban, so now it's all coming together.
Giant snake, what a noob. Called by its scientific name, a basilisk.
Oh, sorry. Anyway, there's tons of awesome food, which is actually normal human food and sounded really good. They meet the official ghost of Gryffindor, Nearly Headless Nick. Yeah, and he mentions that Slytherin has won the House Cup for the past 6 years in a row, which is a travesty.
Yeah.
He says it's like the longest drought that Gryffindor's gone without winning it, so obviously they're going to win it this year.
Well, because obviously Gryffindors are so great,
I
right?
mean, we really are the best. We're just so courageous.
You're so courageous and so awesome. You're all star athletes and star people.
Oh, man. Neville Longbottom says that his family thought he was a muggle until very late in life. That makes Harry feel better about himself. The turban that Turban Teacher is wearing is described as, quote, an absurd turban, which I just think is a great description. There is a, quote, hook-nosed teacher that looks at Harry with a very funny look. And I was like, this has to be Snape. And then 4 pages later, they reveal that it's Snape. So there's a rumor that Snape wants Turban Guy's job. He wants to teach Defense Against the Dark Arts, but instead he's stuck teaching potions, which seems lame. So Dumbledore gives like the basic rules. He says that there's no magic in the hallways. The Forbidden Forest is off limits, which makes sense since it's called the Forbidden Forest. And then there's some particular room that is off limits, but doesn't give any reasoning. And Percy the prefect is like, they didn't even tell the prefects. This is so strange.
Percy, God, what a kiss ass.
Him and Hermione, I wish they got together instead of Hermione and Ron.
You wait. You will eat those words in a few books.
Oh, man. So they everybody sings some crappy Hogwarts song. There's a bunch of ghosts, like one named Peeves, one named the Bloody Baron, who is the only one that can control Peeves. And then Harry has some dream where the turban tries to tell Harry to join Slytherin, further confirming that Voldemort lives in the turban. Malfoy laughs and then turns into Snape. And then there's the green light again, and then Harry wakes up. And then the narrator says, Harry forgot the dream immediately after waking. And I was like, man, this is a really important dream. Do you have to forget it?
Right. You need that information. You need to be on your guard at all times.
Yeah. So then, Chapter 8, the last chapter that I've read, The Potions Master. So, there's people in the halls, I assume these are the non-first years, like whispering about Harry, like spreading scuttlebutt and rumors, and they're like, oh, he's here now, blah, blah, blah. They describe the hallways of Hogwarts seeming like the worst things in the world. because the stairs move, some doors are fake, some doors require tickling in order to open, ghosts mess with you and make you late for class, they hall monitor, Peeves sucks, the caretaker Argus Filch is even worse, he has some cat that patrols the hall, it calls for Filch, and everybody hates him.
Yeah, Filch is the worst. But you know what? I really wish that the movies included Peeves. They don't have Peeves in there, and he's such a big part of the books.
Okay, because when they were describing him, I was like, I don't remember this guy existing at all.
Yeah, it's a bummer. But, sorry, continue.
Lame. Okay, so everybody hates him, and they just cause a bunch of ruckus. So Harry is confused about, like, how many different things they have to study. They have to, like, study the constellations. They have to study herbology with Professor Sprout. Really convenient that someone with the last name Sprout happens to be good at herbology. Like,
yeah.
What if that person was, like, the Quidditch coach?
She'd be great at that as well. Professor Sprout's such a bamf, and she's also the head of house of Hufflepuff.
Aw, she's so loyal.
I know, I love her. She's so great.
And then they say that history of magic is the most boring subject. I'm glad that history always proves to be the worst subject, even in wizard school.
Even in wizard school.
So then Quirrell is described as being weird as hell in class, puts garlic everywhere, and then says that's because of vampires. I don't know if that's the real reason or if the garlic will put people off the scent that Voldemort lives in his turban. I don't know. That's a thing. So many people are very bad at magic, so Harry feels more secure about himself when he's like, oh, no one here knows what they're doing. Cool. Snape is the head of Slytherin House and plays favorites. McGonagall is the head of Gryffindor and doesn't play favorites, because Gryffindors are the best.
Fair.
So Snape, they go to Snape's potion class, and Harry is convinced that Snape hates him, because Snape is a huge douchebag to Harry in class. He, asks him these impossible questions that Harry doesn't know the answer to, but of course Hermione knows all the answers.
Hermione knows all of them, yeah.
She knows everything, and I remember this very, very well being described in the movie. They did a great job of her being the worst. So when this happened in the book, I was like, yep, totally. So Neville messes up some potion, spills a cauldron everywhere, boils start growing all over him. Snape blames it on Harry, though, and then deducts house cup points from Gryffindor. The worst. Harry and Ron then go to visit Hagrid. There's more details about the Gringotts break-in. Word on the street is that it is the work of dark wizards. They said nothing was taken, but also that the contents of the vault were cleared beforehand, and the goblins are keeping these contents a secret. So basically, and they find out that it happened on the day that Harry and Hagrid are there. So basically, it's like whatever they were trying to steal, Hagrid got just in the nick of time. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the Sorcerer's Stone, because they haven't said anything about it yet, so maybe that's what it is. They also haven't said who the Sorcerer/Philosopher is. So that's my running theory, is that it's the Sorcerer's Stone. I literally just thought of it now as I was describing this, so I'm really hoping it turns out to be that. And that is the end of Chapter 8, and that's where I'm at right now. So...
you have so much more of an adventure to go on. I'm so jealous.
It's great. I have 6.5 more books, and I have 8 movies because they make 2 out of the 7th. So
so good.
I have so much. So how do you feel about my journey thus far and my thoughts? Let me know how you're feeling.
It's so great. I'm so jealous. It's like when every Christmas comes around, you're like, I wish I still thought Santa Claus existed. It's like, I wish I hadn't read the Harry Potter books so I could go through them for the first time again. It's so magical. It's like losing your virginity. Because that's usually not a good thing for most people their first time around.
Yeah, I feel like reading the books is probably better.
Yeah. You're going to have just so much fun. There's so much to learn. You're going to want a letter from Hogwarts after this book is done. It's so great. And there's just so many more details that weren't in the movies that you're going to catch on to. And it just makes the book so much more colorful and alive and real.
Yeah, that's definitely the biggest takeaway that I've had, is that the books, like, from the movies, I was like, oh, okay, tells the story of a wizard, blah, 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 but the books actually, like, go into emotions and feelings and real kind of themes that are in books, so it kind of makes sense, but I feel like now I'm starting to get why everyone's like, no, the books are so much better. As I've started to read them, I'm like, okay, they actually really are.
And like, no matter how hard you try, you just automatically become more invested with every page you read. You're like, I am on this journey. Yes, it is me, Harry Potter. Hello, welcome to Hogwarts / this world that we live in. It's unbelievable and amazing, and Hogwarts is real, and I will go there one day.
Have you ever been to Harry Potter World in Florida?
No, but they have the one here now.
Oh, they have it in California now.
Yeah. And I went to a soft opening of it, and it's like no one was there, and it actually was it wasn't the best because the one in Orlando is so much bigger. There's no space here.
You're going to hate me again for this because I've been there.
Oh, my God. I just want to go to the Gringotts ride.
Oh, the Gringotts ride is dope.
Right?
Yeah.
I need it.
Yeah, it's a good time. Did I go on the Gringotts ride? I was in there's like two parts. I went to the part that's connected to Islands of Adventure because I went to Islands of Adventure. So it had Diagon Alley. And then it had the ride where it's like you strap in and there's a screen in front of you the whole time. I don't think it's Gringotts.
Oh, no, that's
the other one.
You go through Hogwarts. It's like the Quidditch adventure ride.
So I did that. Gringotts is the other one. So I did not do that yet. But I did that ride, and I drank butterbeer and ate like a wizard burger. And
a wizard burger.
But butterbeer was good. I don't know what book that comes into play in, but that was delicious. They have all the like cool interactive wand stuff. It was pretty cool. When I was in Harry Potter World, I was like, all right, this is pretty tight.
I just need to live there. I need to be a part of this world.
Yeah, we should go together and be the twins. We can get like the redhead wigs and then be the Weasley twins together through Harry Potter World.
Yeah, it would be beautiful. And I was about to say something and I almost just ruined it for you. Caught myself.
Good. Yeah, no spoilers.
And the people that listen to this that have read the books are going to know exactly what I almost just said.
Oh, good. That's what's so great, and what I'm so excited about this whole like podcast series is that like as I'll be describing things and like trying to guess about foreshadowing and certain things that happen, like most of the people listening have read the books and will know and will just be like cringing like I know what happens, like right? All this stuff, like everyone's like, oh, I know what's in that knapsack thing. And I'm just like, I don't know what it is, maybe it's a stone. So I'm really excited about that, and especially since I've only seen the first 4.5 movies, is that like I assume that books like 5, 6, and 7, like intense stuff starts going down. So the fact that I know little bits of things here and there, like I know Cedric Diggory dies in the Goblet of Fire tournament, but I don't know like why Snape kills Dumbledore, and I don't know how Harry ends up defeating him in the 7. So it's exciting that I don't know any of the like major important things, and I'll start to learn those slowly as I read the books.
And contrary to popular opinion, my favorite book is The Order of the Phoenix, the 5th one. Okay. So I'm interested to see what you think about it, because that's usually the least liked book out of the series.
Interesting. Because so I recorded like an intro episode before recording this one where I kind of lay down all of the things I know before I started reading the book, and it's pretty pathetic how little I know. So pathetic, I didn't remember what the 5th book was called. It was the only one I couldn't remember the name of.
Order of the Phoenix, it's the best one.
Yeah. I just knew it was the one where Umbridge takes over and ruins everything.
Yeah. Terrible woman.
Yeah. Well, man, thanks for being a part of this. This was great. I'm so glad you were the first guest. The perfect introduction to Potterless.
Me too.
The journey of a 24-year-old man reading children's novels.
I'm so honored.
But yes, so thank you for being a part of it. Everyone listening, if you want to follow Alex Moothart on the social media, it's his name for everything, right? It's all just at Alex Moothart, pretty much. Cool.
Nailed it.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining, Alex, and listeners, thank you for doing so. If you want to continue along this journey from platform 9 3/4, you can subscribe to this podcast on iTunes or SoundCloud, and follow along on Twitter at PotterlessPod. But yeah, thanks, man, and I'm glad that this journey started with you.
Oh my God, I'm about to cry. Thanks.
Oh man. Potterless was created by Mike Schubert. It is edited by Mike Schubert. It is produced by Mike Schubert and hosted by Mike Schubert. And the music is by Bettina Campomanes. Thank you guys so much for listening. And until next time, Wizard on! Oh, and I forgot to mention this, but if you really like the show, please rate us on iTunes. That actually helps a ton. And I don't know, feel free to tell your friends or your mom about it. Guys, I really do appreciate you listening, and this is going to be a bi-weekly podcast, so I will see you in 2 weeks for the next episode.